Okay, we're about to start, everybody. If you're just watching us on YouTube, might be one or two waiting, but we'll see. Right, just get everybody in and we'll get going. Right, everybody ready?
Yep.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Teaching Live. It's week 3, and we're all ready to go. How are you this morning, Pi?
Me, I'm in peak condition.
David and I are very pleased to see you, Pi.
Yes, I must admit, about a minute ago, I was sitting in the kitchen listening to the radio, thinking, great, I've not got anything to do this morning. And then suddenly I thought, it's Tuesday, quick. So I
Yes.
scuttled along, but I'm
For,
very
for,
pleased to be here.
for those of
Well,
you not familiar with teaching, if it's your first season in Teaching Live, this happens on a regular basis, doesn't it, David?
No. Yes, sometimes Pi does it on purpose to keep us on our toes, John. It's quite obvious.
Yeah.
The master and his tricks that he plays.
yeah.
But yes, sometimes causes a bit of a stir, but it's all good. It's a bit grey here in Chorley today, I've got to say. Nothing to shout about weather-wise, but all systems are going, as always. Looking forward. We've got a great group this year. I mean, this season, Pi, with this group. The promising start.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of good bits of writing, and of course, online we've got lots of good bits of art I've seen creeping in. So we'll have a look at that later on. We've got what do you think? 3 or 4 audios that we can listen to because they're quite short. But let's get crack on with a game, and we're going to play one of my favorite games, which is Partner A just literally says this is about a magical factory. So if you imagine sort of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or whatever, you have a factory which can actually make anything you like in the world. All right. So you can make anything. You can make a snowflake, you can make a robin, you can make a cloud, you can make a stone, you can make anything you want out of anything. So out of any ingredient. So it doesn't matter. So if you're going to make a car, you don't have to make it out of metal. You could make it out of coffee fudge, a couple of holly leaves, and and an old slipper. So any ingredients are allowed, and anything can be made. So partner A says, I would make a something or other. And partner B then invents 2 or 3 very unlikely ingredients. So if David said to me, I would make a chair, I'm not going to say out of wood because that's sort of a bit obvious, or metal, that's a bit obvious, or plastic, that's a bit obvious. I'm going to say out of 3 wood lice, which is a bit unfair on the wood lice, but anyway, 3 wood lice. What else would I make it out of? What are those things called that you wear to support you when you're swimming? Are they called water wings?
Oh yeah, the
Armbands.
little inflatable
Yeah,
armband.
the armbands. So I'd have 3 wood lice, a pair of armbands to make my chair. And can I think of a third thing that's very, very unlikely? Yes, I can. I would have, this is one of my main ingredients, a key ring featuring our noble king. So that would be an ingredient.
I had a moment of horror then, Pi. What on earth are you going to show us?
Yes, exactly. It could have been worse. So, David, do you want to be A or B?
Well, I'll start with being A first of all, and then I'm sure we'll flip over for a couple.
Yeah. So after 2 minutes, we'll swap roles, but we won't go that long. So you blast a few ideas at me, and I'll see what I can think of.
I'm going to use the model in the notes that I would make a light bulb.
I would make a light bulb out of used post-it notes, a fridge magnet, and the leaf from a cocoa plant.
I would make an aeroplane.
Okay, I would make an aeroplane out of poster paint. It's not sounding good, is it? Poster paint, 3 strips of bacon, and and um, and a giant's fingernails.
Oh, I'm not going to be booking a ticket on your airline, Pie. Something for sure. Okay, I would make a tea towel.
Out of porridge, a bowl of porridge, out of a bowl of porridge, um, oh, really, man, a king's golden crown, and for my third thing, I would have the scum. Do you know? It's not really scum. Do you know? As when we were at school, we used to get given custard, and it would get that thick.
Skin. The skin of the custard.
The skin off the custard. And some kids loved it and used to go and say, please, miss, can I have the skin off the custard? And I thought it was revolting. It used to make me want to be sick. Anyway, that's what I would do. So after 2 minutes, John will give us a warning. I don't know whether the timer's working anymore, but anyway, we'd swap. This I always love this because you can see David thinking, and you can see those old cogs whirring away. So I'm going to chuck at him. I would make a bar of soap out of.
Oh, a bar. I would make a bar of soap out of wasp wings, a pair of wasp wings, a liter of oil, and some tea leaves.
Okay, I'll chuck you one more, and then we'll go to the timer. So I would in my magical factory, I would make a sofa.
Oh, a sofa. I would make a sofa out of a packet of marshmallows. I'm thinking comfort.
Yes.
The sneeze of Boris Johnson and the smell of, oh, I'm trying to think. You know, when the grass has just been cut.
You cut newly cut grass.
Yes, newly cut grass. I don't know if it had a name or not, but newly cut grass will do because
Yeah.
I like that smell.
I love that idea that an ingredient could be obviously objects, which we've been doing, but could be the smell of, the scent of, the taste of, the feel of. So you could draw on the senses in that, the sound of a Ferrari as it roars around the track or whatever it is. So Dave has given us a new thought there that we could use the senses as ingredients. I think everyone's got the idea. What would you make in your magical factory in pairs? Come up with 2 or 3 ingredients. And then, John, warn us after 2 minutes, please.
Okay, let's go for everybody. Sit. I've got the timer on. What I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set the timer. I'm gonna test the timer today. I'm gonna set the timer off on my phone, which I think will be accurate, and the timer on the screen, which I'm not so sure about. So whichever goes off first, I'll stop. So at 2 minutes, I'll swap you over. So I would make starting now. Right, time to swap over. Right, that signifies the end of the game. So I think what I've deduced from that is that the timer works fine when it's displayed on the screen all the time. But if I go to the teacher notes to display information for you, then that's when the problem begins. So we were fine there, bang on 4 minutes. Right, we'll go to the TeachingLive website and go to today's session, the 9:30 session, and we will open Padlet activity number 1. Right.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're moving towards writing a poem, not a rhyming one, a poem in which we create an abstract noun and we write about what it's made of, where we found it, what it can do, and what would happen if we lost it. Excuse me. So we've got a list of abstract nouns. Now, abstract nouns, most nouns are what we call concrete nouns. And they're called concrete because you can touch them. They're things like table and chair and even snowflake or even the wind you can feel. And we know it's a noun when we can put the, a, or an in front of it. And we can also turn it into the plural. So if you look at chair, you can say the chair that was on the table. You can say a chair, and then you can say there were lots of chairs. So it's the, a, or an in front of it, and can you turn it into a plural? But if you take something like, look at my list of abstract nouns there, something like, what should we have? Injustice or sadness would be a good one. Fear, there we go. If we take fear, fear isn't a thing that you can touch. It's an emotion. It's a feeling. You feel afraid. But it's a noun. It can be labeled as a noun. And I know that because you can put the a in front of it. So the fear that Bilbo Baggins felt was enormous, or a fear crept over him. And can I turn it into a plural? The fears that they all felt surged through them, had soon engulfed them. So I can put the or a in front of it, and I can pluralize it, so I know it's a noun. So those are called abstract nouns. So concrete nouns are like concrete. They're things that you can touch. Abstract nouns are nouns, but you can't touch them. They tend to be emotions. Okay, So in this first one, I've gone for I found. Where did you find? So if you were going to write about intelligence or anger, let's say anger, I found anger. Where did you find it? And of course, you've got to come up with something a little bit unusual. Try and make ordinary things sound a bit special. I found anger where the wind scuffs its shoes. I found anger where the lone fox prowls dustbins and dumpsters looking for leftover treats. I found anger where a dictionary of disasters empties its definitions till it is vacant as a midnight car park.
Oh, I like that one, Pi.
Yeah, I was pleased with that, with all those D's in it. I found anger where the toad squats like a rock's fist. Now, instead of found, you could obviously have a different word. I caged anger, or I trapped anger, or I captured it, or caught it, or snared it, or snagged it, or imprisoned it. I waited with anger. I lounged with anger. I whispered. So you can change that a little bit. And down below, I've got, I found hope trapped on the edge of a lemon's bite. I found hope crouched tight in a crocus. I found hope caged in a crisp packet scrunched up at the roadside. I found hope crumpled and discarded like a wrecked car crash in a teacher's dress. So we're just writing sentences. Choose an abstract noun. Where did you find it? Where did you capture it? And capital letter, full stop, try and come up with a good idea and make sure you spell found correctly because I've given you that one. So John's going to have a go himself, as he always likes to do.
Well, I would do if the Padlet wasn't frozen.
Well, that always helps, of course, when David sorted himself out. And it says write something fantastic, so do write something fantastical. This week it's all about using your imagination and thinking of unusual and strange things. I found disappointment. Now, where would you find disappointment? And think of some secret place, that special place, unusual place. Hiding the muscles or hiding in the muscles. He spotted it. Hiding in the muscles of my legs. I love that one.
That's a common occurrence, that one for me, Pi. I keep thinking I'm going to go run faster or cycle faster or swim faster, but the legs won't have it.
Well, my hip won't have it. I've got a second hip operation coming up.
Ah.
But that's irrelevant to this issue. I found excitement in the clouds next to a God's palace. I'm liking your idea, Ben and Munro. God's palace, the palace of a god. So you're going to need an apostrophe. You can nip back and edit it. Danny from Scotforth, I found happiness in the dreams of hope. It's not off. Danny, you've written off hope. It's of hope. So of is one F, off is two. You just about hear it. Hamad, I felt anger when my soul collided with my hairy heart. I love that. I love the word collided. I love the idea of the soul colliding, and the hairy heart sounds absolutely disgusting, but it's wonderful. I imprisoned fear hiding in the hole of my heart. That's Jessie from Dell. Found happiness jumping in joy at the magical world of Disneyland. You could extend that. I'm wondering what it was in Disneyland. I don't know. I found fear in the deep, dark, gloomy forest at Scream. Now, what would we say about that one?
I would say deep, dark, and gloomy all kind of mean the same thing in IS. So I would choose one of those, and then maybe add a different adjective, or just leave it as one.
Isabel from Scotforth, I found wind where a ballerina was dancing in the moonlight. Now, you've got a choice there, Isabel. You could keep was dancing. You could say, you could tighten it up and say where a ballerina danced in the moonlight, But even more, you could tell us the type of dancing, dance the samba in the moonlight or whatever it's going to be. So you could edit yours, Isabel.
Well, Ben from Lancaster Road's got an interesting idea. I found intelligence from the height of the colonial empire amongst the smartest human beings. It's an interesting idea. I wonder where you got that idea from, Ben. That is an interesting one.
Emma from Dell, reread yours. There are two things that you know, but when you reread, you spot you haven't done. So you could nip back and edit it. But well done for having a go. Now, Taiba from Bolton Parish Year 4, I found jealousy in my heart. You could add to that. What's jealousy doing in your heart? Is it twisting, turning, writhing, seething, growing? So you could tell us a bit more.
Yeah, same with Jessie from Long Parish. I found mischief in a sweet shop. What was it doing? Was it jumping, bouncing, tickling? All sorts of different nouns you could use in there.
Now, there's one about a huntsman spider I noticed, which I rather like, but I can't. Oh, there it is. It's a SADS from Bolton Parish. I found the joy of life peeking out of my long legs like a huntsman spider.
You're going to like this one, Pi. Archie from Scotforth. I caught joy in the depths of the forest by the rippling rivulets of the rainforest. Now, I'm going to say one thing about that. I love the rippling rivulets. That's brilliant. Well done, Archie. You've got forest twice, in the depths of the forest by the rippling rivulets of the rainforest. So you've got the R in rainforest. So I'm wondering whether you can change the first forest. Right, among the trees, or something like so. So you haven't got, so you're not repeating forest. Lily from Lancaster Road. I found bitterness at the bottom of the scalding cup of coffee. Now, scalding and scalding. Scalding is where you tell somebody off. Scalding is where it's really hot, and scalding is SCALD. It's not that common a word, that one, Lily. So well done. I found Go on, David.
Well, no, it's one I've seen there from Ben and Munro at Long Parish. I found rage inside the palace of hell next to Satan's greed. That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we've even got an apostrophe, the greed of Satan.
Well done.
I found mischief. Matthew from Fingham.
Oh, I like this one from Theo and from Lancaster Road. I found depression in its cold, emotional bed, crying and telling itself it's not enough.
Wow.
Very good, Theo. I wonder, emotional or emotionless. I wonder if emotionless, as in without emotion, would work better. I don't know. It's up to you there, Theo. But it's good. I like it.
Yes, there's a sort of truth to it.
Yes. Which works really well, but it doesn't have to be like that. It can be completely abstract. So Natalie, I found sadness when my hamster did a backflip, and I couldn't.
So we've got a few coming in from Fingham now. Did I say it right, John?
You did, Pi. Well done. First time ever, everybody. That's astonishing.
Eva from Bolton Parish. I found fear in the very trees of the gods, scared of what humans are doing to their world, destroying it second by second. I like the way you said the very trees.
Yes, that is good. That is good. I like that.
And Ariane, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I found nostalgia in the mountain inside the unknown palace. So, interesting one. Jessie, I found mischief in a sweet shop as candy floss whipped through the air.
Yeah, that's great.
Georgie from Lancaster Road, I found fear captured in a devil's dungeon underground. So devil's dungeon, I love the idea. It's the dungeon belonging to the devil, so you need devil apostrophe S. I found a foot in the depths of the dark blue sea. Charlotte, have a look at the spelling of blue. Nice idea.
Leon from Dell. I found anger sitting on a bench in Norway.
Yep, loving it. I love the way he's named it.
Yes, yes.
It's like Ada's got fear hiding in the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, yeah, that's a clever idea.
And Saxon from Dell, I found betrayal in a mole hole in the field of battle. How about that?
Oh, gosh.
And what about Ben's from Lancaster Road?
Yeah, yeah, I just spotted that one.
And anxiety trapped in an island near Korea with a bankrupt playing games to win money. The idea of the bankrupt.
Yes, yes.
Need to pull.
So we've got some quite sophisticated ideas this morning, Pi. So the idea of abstract nouns is not something that we're finding too much difficulty with. So there's some really good ones, but we will have to come out of the Padlet. So we'll come out of the Padlet.
Yes, I think that was very well done.
Yeah, there's some really great ideas there. And we'll go back to the session page and we'll have a look, see at our audio challenge. So I'm going to click on the audio challenge. And we've got Lydia and Abigail who are at home. We had theirs last week. So we'll start off with Long Parish and we'll see if we've got time to play Lydia's and Abigail's. So Alicia from Long Parish. So let's see how we go.
On the ship of dreams, the serene small sunlight sat next to the crystal blue sea. On the ship of dreams, wishes gleamed and fluttered like butterflies in the breeze. On the ship of dreams, we drift and glide, guiding us through the endless night, through silver seas and worlds untied. On the ship of dreams, we sail forever, where time is still and hearts are clever. A journey where all things can be, a world that lives inside the sea.
Oh, that's terrific stuff, that one, Pi. I think there's a couple of things I want to point out. First of all, that last verse rhymed and it worked. And the second thing, I really liked the line. Where was it? Or which was the line that I really liked?
Silver seas and worlds untied.
Yes, that's the one. Silver seas and worlds untied. That was intriguing to me.
It's a great example of the. I mean, normally I always say, don't bother rhyming it. Just go for the great words and the similes and etc. But occasionally you get one like that, and it actually works. And even in the third verse, it says, "On the ship of dreams we drift and glide, guiding us." Can you hear glide, guide through
Yes.
this night?
Yeah.
Through silver seas and worlds untied. So maybe with this sort of imaginative thing, it can work. Usually it destroys it, but that was beautifully read as well. I thought really crystal clear. I could hear every word. It was well paced. Let's listen to Tommy's now.
I haven't found that one on the blog, Alicia, so make sure it gets posted on the blog so we can leave a comment on that one because that's great stuff. So let's listen to Tommy's now. Beautifully read as well, as Pi said.
On the ship of anger, sails do sway. The waves crash hard and the skies turn grey. Shouts and storms echo in the air. Everything's wrong, frustration is everywhere. On the ship of anger, the wind does blow. Red faces glow, the temptations grow. Screams and cries fill the night. On the ship of anger, calm is long gone, not the place to be. A breath is taken, low and deep, the stormy seas.
Okay, don't know what happened to the end there, Tommy, but you read it really well. Just maybe practice it a couple of times before you record it, so you get the words as you've written them. but that was a really good poem. I really like the idea. You've done some rhyming as well.
Yeah, they
Which
were
works.
okay. They worked, yes. And he read it at a good pace, I thought. Didn't rush it, read it carefully. One or two bits he missed out, which was interesting, and I'm wondering why. There was a bit of an echo there, John. What was
Yeah,
that?
I don't know. It sounded like there was a music lesson going on in the background somewhere. But
Yeah.
again, it's one of those things that the quieter the background, the better where it comes to reading. We'll have one more, and we'll go for I think Abigail's.
On the Ship of Dreams. On the Ship of Dreams, the oars gently pulled through the smooth water, ripples dancing across the reflected golden pinpricks of light. On the Ship of Dreams, the silver sails carry the little boat along the endless black water, following the bright of the Star of the North. On the Ship of Dreams, the coils of rope gleam bright by the light of the moon, like silver snakes smiling up at the stars. On the Ship of Dreams, the deck sways gently along with the movement of the water, casting oars into the deep. On the Ship of Dreams, the captain stares across the velvet waters, wondering if he will ever see land again.
Yep, lovely. Like that one, Abigail. Really good. I particularly like your simile about the rope, the coils of rope gleaming bright in the light of the moon, like silver snakes smiling up at the stars. I think that works really well.
And actually, John, all those ship ones are from the first session, because the last session we did, you've got Lydia's in yellow.
Well, let's listen to it, Pi. We're enjoying it this morning, so we'll just give Lydia a quick listen as well.
The moon is as silver as a crystal on a ring, like a sparkling diamond, bright sight. A llama is as fluffy as a pom-pom, like a warm jacket, savage spitter. A rose is as red as a blushing tomato, like a bloodshot eye, prickling beauty. A pillow is as soft as a pink marshmallow, like a stick of candy floss, sweet bringer.
So this one, Pi, I actually read on the blog. So I really like this one. Well read, Abigail. The thing I said about it is that you've used as soft as pink marshmallow, as like a stick of candy. That's kind of cliched, but it does work because the rest of it is very original. So because you've got all that original thought in there, you can get away with a bit of cliche right at the end. And I do like your sleep bringer as a pillow. It's a good kenning, that one.
Yeah, if you look at all of those last lines, she's got bright sight for the moon, savage spitter for llama, prickling beauty for rose, and then sleep bringer.
Yeah, they're really good.
And then if you look at Abigail's, her little kennings at the end, she's got killing pearl, water's secret, loud silence. That's an interesting one. A loud silence, flying wisher, writer's sidekick. So that's a pen. And then she ends by saying a poem as interesting as an adventure packed story, like a pile of ideas ready to be improved. End of this one. So well done, you two. Well done.
I love that ending.
Long Parish. Let's get some more next week, John. We need more.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some we're setting a high bar here. Some beautiful reading there. I really loved the reading from Alicia from Long Parish. It was excellent reading. Right, Padlet activity number 2.
Yeah, and now we've had a look at where you found it. Now, what can it do? So I've had a go at 2. I thought, okay, I'll go for a secret as my abstract noun. This secret, what can it do? This secret can prise open hearts made of steel. It can smooth the surreal sea flat. So surreal is it's the surrealists were a group of artists who used to do things like they'd paint their dreams. So this sort of writing is actually surreal. It's not real. It's beyond real. It's playful. What else can my secret do? It can cup the cat's purr in an empty palm. It can break apart Mount Everest till it is powder trapped in a locket. And then how they go at trust. I think trust is very important, that you have friends who you can trust, will always support you and be nice to you. My trust can stop and stoop to pick up whatever has been lost. It can hide in a constellation of frost. I was thinking constellations are groups of stars, and I was thinking sometimes when you get light on frost, say on the road at night, it's lots of little pinpricks and it's rather like a constellation of stars on a night pavement. It can mend. What else can it do? It can mend a promise spoken. It can be broken into 1,000 shimmering petals. It can whisper lullabies to lost babies. It can build starfish that glitter in still pools. So choose your abstract noun. We got the list already. You may be able to think of something else. And then what can it do? And of course, it can do anything that you want. It's a bit like the magical factory. It can do anything that you like. So in we go, John.
So yeah, so let's try and do rather than let's try and do 2 or 3 lines here. So we'll go for.
So he's got his name. He's remembering to put his school in. Scrolls down. He's going to do a capital letter. He's on it this morning. My cougar. Courage. My courage can. So he's following the pattern. My courage can. What can it do? Hide like a mouse in its hole, comma. He's going for 2 or 3. 3, I think. Like a mouse in its hole, it can say hello and, when I least expect it, it can rage. Like, say, he's gone for 3 sentences. It can say hello when I least expect it. It can rage like a tiger facing injustice. Lovely idea. But before he submits it, too late. Oh dear, John. You've got a comma, haven't you, after whole, after the first one?
Oh, yes, I have. So I need to go and edit that.
He's editing. We love it when people edit to get that accuracy, but also sometimes to improve. Okay, and we're off, David. So you can come up with 1, 2, 3 ideas.
So it's each one is a separate sentence.
Yes. And Alex, in a way, hate can destroy a mountain like a puff of smoke.
I wonder whether you would be in a puff of smoke would work better, Alex.
Could be, could bung an adjective in next to that smoke, Alex.
Yes, like a
and surprise me in a puff of, I don't know, silver smoke. You could try alliterating. Think of an adjective that starts with an S. James from Scotforth, well done. My best friend can comfort me whenever I feel down. Have a look at the capital letter, James, but also look at my model.
Yeah, you've gone for a concrete. Your best friend is an actual person rather than an abstract noun there, James. See if you can come up with a fear or courage or indifference. There's a good one, Pi.
Bella from Dell, you've missed something out that's very important in a sentence. You'll know what it is, so nip back and edit it. Yeah, I'm liking Esther's. My courage can hide like a bat in a cave.
Yes.
My trust can follow the right people I can trust. Nice idea, Taylor, but you've got trust twice, and I wonder if there's a way round that. Have a look at it. My trust can dance with the daffodil in the field, and it can fly in space. I'm loving your idea of dancing with the daffodil in the field, Isla. That's your stronger one, I think. Ha! Abigail from home has got this jealousy can tear down Mount Fuji. Nice bit of name it, as if it was a raisin.
Oh, yeah, I like that's a good idea. My courage can run like a jaguar sprinting down a slope. It can slice the unsinkable ship in half. Like the illustration there, it can defeat my enemies. That's Ben from Lancaster Road.
Well, Ben's got a choice there, John, because the unsinkable ship is the Titanic, of course. But after the word half, it's either a full stop or a semicolon.
Oh, yes, I didn't spot that one.
Oh, well. Hassan's got an interesting one. My secret can kill billions of people if it leaks. Have a look at the spelling of leaks, Hassan. You've got an E in there towards the end that you don't need, and you need a full stop after that first idea.
I like Elliot and Ollie's from Long Parish. My trust can thrive through my bond of friendship. I like the verb thrive. It can be happy when I want it to. It can hug my friends when they feel down, which is good. I like the idea of trust hugging friends.
Lucas, my trust can sway my nerves away. It sways like dead leaves on the ground. It can help like a doctor. You've got some interesting ideas in there, Lucas. You've got sway twice. And Uche, my thoughts.
Yeah, I was reading that one.
Yeah.
There's some interesting ideas going on there, Pi.
Yeah, my thoughts can start a mental civil war. It can make the tides dry up with intensified heat from the sun. It can make the Greek pantheon cower upon encounter.
I love that. I really like that one, Pi. I like the idea of a mental civil war because when you've got two ideas, think, should I do this or should I not? Fighting with each other in your head, which one's going to win? I like that idea a lot.
Lydia from Fingen, my secret can trap even Harry Houdini forever, can turn the brightest suns dark for a day. It can bring those banished from their country back home.
Oh, great stuff, Lydia. That's really, yeah.
Mason from Scotforth, my imagination can pounce when I'm looking away. It can linger perpetually in my mind, awaiting approval. It could write 1,000 stories in the flick of a wrist. Well done, Mason.
Great stuff this morning. That's another terrific one, Mason.
And Ada from LR, Lancaster Road. Keep moving around, but my courage can hide like a fish, camouflaging within bright and vibrant coral. It can recklessly climb up jungle vines. It can show itself like a wolf rejecting its pack.
I like this one as well. Harrison from Lancaster Road. I really like the verb in this one, Pi. My joy can sweep up disappointment. It can make me raise high. It can raise me high, I think, would be better, Harrison. Just tighten it up. It can put a smile on my face. Which is I like that one. I really like the sweep up disappointment. I think that works really well.
It's part of the skill is to inject in some slightly unusual language, isn't it?
Yes.
It's Ada. It wasn't bright coral. It was bright and vibrant. It wasn't. It can climb up jungle vines. It was. It can recklessly. It's Ada. You need to just have a look at that. You've got the wrong one. Now, Claudia from Long Parish, I think you got three really good ideas. The cheetah one we've all heard before. So think of another fast animal, Claudia, and really surprise me with a new idea for that one. I like your idea, Charlotte, of your courage can stare me straight in the eye when it's opened. Just have a look at the spelling of straight.
Honor from Dell. Anger can break through like piping hot water. I like that. That's really good.
And Tilly, I like the way you've ended your run of ideas for hate. It can fix it all with a snap of the wrist. It's that word, snap of a wrist. It's interesting.
And it's the opposite to the rest as well.
Yes, exactly. It's a new direction.
Right, we'll come out of the Padlet. Some terrific ideas again there, Pi. Really, really good writing going on. So we're going to go and have a look at, go back up to the session page.
No, this is one.
Look at the gallery.
Yeah, one of my favourite things is what people have got in the gallery. A lot from Bolton Parish. Really nicely presented. I imagine people have done a first draft where they got their ideas sorted and then written it up in what we used to call best writing.
Yeah,
the flamethrower is as daring as thunder.
A nice one.
Yeah, and then done some little illustrations to go with it. We used to do a lot of this, John. Certainly when I started teaching, you do little illustrations for stories and obviously illustrating non-fiction and poetry. And then we went through a period of time where people didn't do it for some reason. I think it adds to it, makes it special.
Right. So what's today's gallery challenge, Pi?
Well, today's is slightly different. So let's have a look at the teacher's notes. And if you stop or keep going down, where is it?
Yes. Yeah. It was.
Keep going down. Wait a minute. Go back up. Just click on number 4, gallery challenge. So it's a bit of a change this week because next week we're going to do a bit of non-fiction, and it's to do with the book that we're looking at, When the Sky Falls. And interestingly, Phil Earle, who wrote it, very kindly sent me what's called a proof. This is a proof. So before a book is published, they, on fairly cheap paper, they print a number of copies, and those go out to reviewers and sometimes to people like me. It's called a proof. It's not the final thing. The cover will be different. But this is the story of what happens before When the Sky Falls. It's called The Dawn of Adonis. So I've just got that. I've started reading it. It's excellent. So next week, we're going to do a bit of non-fiction. We're going to be writing a letter, imagining that we're an evacuee and we've been evacuated out of our home and sent somewhere different. So to prepare for session 4, a letter from an evacuee home, and then the 4 following ones, which are all the story ones, I provided 2 short stories plus teaching notes. The stories are built around research that I carried out locally into local evacuees. The local historical society was very useful, plus local history books and Google searches. So it would be handy if by session 4 next week, there'd been a little bit of information gathering about evacuees, maybe children who were sent away from where you lived. Where did they go? What happened? Can you find out? And some of you will have had evacuees into your town or village away from the big cities. Now, if you begin to scroll down, John, so just keep going. That's the model text. We'll come to that in a minute. There's another one. There's another one by a child. There's another one by a child. There's another one by a child. There's another one by a child, and another one by a child, and another one by a child. Whoop, stop there. So when I was preparing to write my 2 stories, which I've sent you here, I did some research. So I went on Google. I read some local books. the local history society I Googled. And what I've done is I provided some of the bits of information, the facts from my village, and I've given them to you here. And I think what would be interesting is if you read them through as a class, you could then see where the information and the ideas came from that I used in the story.
Yeah, very good. And I actually think, so last week we have a local village newsletter, Pi.
Yeah.
And last week they printed a couple of extracts from the local school's logbook, which schools used to keep logbooks and write a note in every day. And the village is Hornby in the middle of nowhere in Lancashire. And the logbook entry said, the teacher from Salford was sent to a school in Lancaster today, leaving us with 16 children from Salford. And so obviously children from Salford had been, which is in Manchester, had been evacuated to the school to avoid the bombs.
And it's learning, John, how to use that information. So that bit that you can see in front of you, that's about when the planes came overhead and one scraped the bell tower of the school, which is still there up the road, and it came down in a local field. And the teacher says the children then saw Mr. Weston grab a wooden pole and rush outside with it to capture the airmen in Mrs. Le Bailey's garden, leaving them in charge of the other teachers. Well, that's a pretty good, juicy fact. So I may well have woven that in to one of the stories. If you go down below, John, keep going. There's children from around that time. So that's what they look like. The crash put Oak Ridge on the map, which is where I live, and drew visitors. That's a bit how they captured the airmen who had been shot down. And then there's some very interesting information there about what they ate. And that one I used for the second story.
Okay.
And the first story is the tunnel, and it's based on almost all of it is true. Oh, if you go back up, John, you can see the crash. There it is. That's the German airplane that came down. And almost everything in the story is true. Obviously, I've used my imagination, but I do think it's interesting to see where the facts came from that then gave me the story. And there are two stories I've given you. So a bit of working on that will give you some thoughts, but also seeing if you can find some real information about evacuees who were sent away from where you are or who came into the area.
Right. Okay. So yeah, a bit of background research. So
Yeah.
but today's blog challenge is back to
what we were doing, and I could have called it My Secret Is, but I decided that John was boring, so I chose a line from my piece of writing, and I called it The Red-Throated Heron, but it's actually the poem's got much to do with the heron. My secret is made from the fingertips of candy floss clouds, the silent shroud between hospital heartbeats, the hangman's cold greeting, the stoat's winter coat, and the red-throated heron. So that's what it's made from. Then I went for I found it, trapped on the edge of a lemon's bite, crouched tight in a crocus, caged in a crisp packet, crumpled at the side of the road, where the toad squats like a rock's fist. Then I went, that's where I found it. Then I went for what it can do. This secret can prise open hearts made of steel, smooth the surreal sea flat, cup the cat's purr in an empty palm, and break apart Mount Everest till it is powder in a locket. And then I ended it with what would happen if I lost it. If I lost this secret, even the lonely goat left at the roadside would bleat. And in the notes, I've done a couple, and then you've got 6 or 7 from various different children, some in classes that I taught years ago, and some from last time that we did this particular idea. I think this group is going to do a good job of it.
It's a great, because we've got a really good structure here. The first verse is the game that we played. The second verse is Padlet number 1. The third verse is Padlet number 2, and then rounding up by what happens if you lose it. So pick one thing. So the idea is not to change the thing that you're talking about. It's a poem about, in Pi's case, is secret, but it could be your courage, your fear, your disappointment, your indifference, any of those abstract nouns, and then write your poem about it. And there's loads and loads of ideas on the Padlets for you to go at, to squirrel ideas and to make it a really great piece of poetry. And we love it again, as we said, we really enjoyed listening to those this morning. So if we can get a few more, let's see if we can get one or two other schools. You will notice in the sidebar of that the tags are now working, so you can see that Bolton Parish have published 24 poems. Dell have published 50, Fingen 12, and so on. So all the tags are working now. So you can click on your tag and it will display your school's poems. The other thing I would say is that I fixed the comment problem that we couldn't leave comments last week. You can now leave comments. So if you click on a poem, in fact, I'll go right to the bottom because I left a couple of comments. So I left a comment on Aurora's from Dell Primary. I really liked her poem. And I've left her a comment on that poem. I love the idea of moon camouflage. I wondered where that came from, Aurora. So if you want to reply to me, you can. You don't. When you leave a comment, it's got 3 boxes: name, first name only, email. You don't need to put an email in, and you don't need to put a website in. Though if you wanted to put your name and school like we do in the Padlets, that would be useful. So leave a comment if you can, using our quality comments model. Say something positive, ask a question, suggest an improvement. So if you get a chance to leave a comment, please do. We love comments. Right, that's it for this week. Some great writing there, Pi.
Absolutely. And I'm going to be doing some commenting myself, John. I've just been reading Lydia's from Fingen, called Floor Stubble. It's an absolute cracker. So I'll be leaving a few messages myself. Well done, everybody. Good session. I'm looking forward to seeing what you're doing. And let's see if we can get some more audios up there. That would be fantastic. So great work. Time for a cup of, well, you won't be having a cup of coffee. You'll be going outside, presumably. Playtime. So bye from me.
Bye from me.
And bye from me. Well done, everyone.
And we'll see you next time for week 4. For a change of, we've done the poetry now. It'll be non-fiction next week, the refugee writing, the evacuee writing. So we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.